Hello students. After discussing pharmacology of serotonin, also termed as 5-hydroxytryptamine, in our last video, today let's study pharmacology of serotonin receptors, agonists and antagonists that have been used clinically. Now this video is fifth in the series of videos on Autacoids. Now by now, as all of us know that serotonin is a monoamine neurotransmitter. Now, one of the most important functions of serotonin is to regulate mood. When levels of serotonin are normal, one feels highly focused, emotionally stable and happy. Thus, very important to remember that 5-hydroxytryptamine or serotonin is a substance of well-being and happiness. Fall in the levels of serotonin produce depression, and serotonin, being a neurotransmitter, exhibits neuronal function. Now, apart from the neuronal function, it also shows non-neuronal functions throughout the body. Now, as we have already studied in our last video that serotonin is synthesized from the amino acid tryptophan, one of the sites where serotonin is synthesized is the raphe nuclei in the brainstem. Now, majority of serotonin, around 90%, is synthesized in the gut, and it is stored in the enterochromaffin-like cells in the gastrointestinal mucosa. Now, platelets do not synthesize 5-HT, but they obtain 5-HT from the intestinal blood vessels, as 90% of 5-HT is present in the gut. Now, in order to understand pharmacology of 5-HT agonist and antagonist, let's quickly review classification of serotonergic or 5-HT receptors. Now, serotonin receptors are found in the central nervous system as well as in the peripheral nervous system, and these receptors mediate excitatory as well as inhibitory responses. Now, 5-HT receptors are divided into 7 families, namely 5-HT1 family, 5-HT2 family, then 3, 4, 5, 6 and 7 family. Now, these 7 families consist of around 14 subtypes of 5-HT receptors. Now, functional roles of 5-HT5, 5-HT6 and 5-HT7 families of serotonin receptors are not very well known. However, these families are closely related to 5-HT4 receptor family. Now, 5-HT1 family has 5 receptor subtypes, namely 5-HT1A, 1B, 1D, 1E and 1F receptors, while 5-HT2 family has 3 receptor subtypes, that is 5-HT2A, 2B and 2C receptors. 5-HT3 family has only one receptor, that is 5-HT3 receptor, and 5-HT4 family also has only one receptor, that is 5-HT4 receptor. Now, all these 5-HT receptors are G protein coupled receptors except the 5-HT3 family. 5-HT3 family belongs to the receptors which are ligand gated ion channels. Now, these channels enclose sodium and potassium channels. Binding of 5-HT to these 5-HT3 receptors open these channels, and change in the ionic concentration causes depolarization of nerve endings that causes release of serotonin, and that further produces the excitatory responses. Now, 5-HT1, 5-HT2 and 5-HT4, these families consist of G protein coupled receptors, and activation of these G protein coupled receptors causes release of secondary messengers like cyclic AMP, and then these messengers either produce inhibitory responses or they produce excitatory responses. Now, 5-HT1 receptors are G inhibitory protein coupled receptors, and activation of these receptors decreases intracellular concentration of cyclic AMP, that is, there is fall in the concentration of cyclic adenosine monophosphate, and this produces inhibitory response. Now, very important to remember that 5-HT1 receptors are autoreceptors, and activation of these receptors produces inhibitory response. It inhibits firing of serotonergic neurons, and there is reduced release of serotonin at the synapse. Now 5-HT2 receptors are again GQ protein coupled receptors. These are the stimulatory receptors, and coupling of serotonin to these receptors causes increase in the intracellular concentration of inositol triphosphate and diacylglycerol, which in turn produces excitatory responses. 5-HT4 receptors are also G-stimulatory protein coupled receptors. Coupling of serotonin to these receptors produces increase in the intracellular concentration of cyclic AMP, which further produces excitatory responses. Now let's see to the pharmacology of clinically useful 5-HT agonist and antagonist. Now let's first talk about the 5-HT1 receptors. Now, as discussed, 5-HT1 receptor family has 5 receptor subtypes, that is 5 types of receptors. Now, out of these 5-HT1A, 1B and 1D receptors are clinically important. Now, 5-HT1A receptors are located on the Raphe nuclei of the brain stem. That is, Raphe nuclei possess 5-HT1A receptors. Now 5-HT1A receptors are autoreceptors. These are G inhibitory protein coupled receptors. Now activation of 5-HT1A receptors reduces firing of the Raphe neurons, and this inhibits release of 5-HT from the nerve endings in the brain. Now buspirone, a partial agonist of 5-HT1A receptors, is used clinically as an anti-anxiety drug. Secondly, 5-HT1D, 1B receptors are present on the cranial blood vessels. Now, stimulation of these receptors causes constriction of cranial blood vessels, which is very useful in the symptomatic treatment of migraine. Migraine is a headache. So, agonists of these receptors are used clinically in the migraine. Now, migraine is a headache that is characterized by recurrent, very sharp, intense, throbbing headache. And this headache is felt on one side of head, that is unilateral head pain. And it is often associated with nausea and vomiting. Now, in addition to this, it is believed that sensory nerve endings in the cranial blood vessels release inflammatory neuropeptides. And these inflammatory neuropeptides produce dilation of cranial blood vessels, which produces headache termed as migraine. Now, triptans, for example, a drug sumatriptan, it is a 5-HT1B receptor agonist. It causes constriction of cranial blood vessels, which provide symptomatic relief in the migraine. Now, additionally, stimulation of 5-HT1D receptors also inhibit release of inflammatory neuropeptides from the nerve endings. So, this is of additional use in the management of migraine. Now, after 5-HT1 receptors, let's discuss pharmacology of 5-HT2 antagonist. Now, 5-HT2 receptor family has 3 receptor subtypes, 5-HT2A, 2B and 2C. Now, 5-HT2A is the most widely expressed receptor of this family. Now, 5-HT2A receptors are located on vascular and visceral smooth muscles. Now, activation of these 5-HT2A receptors produce vasoconstriction, that is constriction of blood vessels, reduction in the diameter of blood vessels. Now, visceral smooth muscles are also contracted, which causes intestinal and bronchial contraction. Now, in addition to this, 5-HT2A receptors are also present on the cerebral neurons. Now, as these receptors are excitatory, stimulation of central 5-HT2A receptors causes increased release of serotonin. Now, ketanserin is a 5-HT receptor antagonist. It is more selective for 5-HT2A receptors. It blocks 5-HT2 receptors. Now, blockage of 5-HT2A receptors produces dilation of blood vessels. Now, dilation of blood pressure produces fall in the blood pressure, and fall in the blood pressure shows symptomatic improvement in the Raynaud's disease. Another drug is cyproheptadine. Cyproheptadine is a 5-HT2A antagonist and it reduces secretion of 5-HT, and therefore it is useful in carcinoid and post-gastrectomy dumping syndrome. Now, in carcinoid, there is increased secretion of serotonin that produces symptoms uh, frequent and severe diarrhea. Now, cyproheptadine reduces secretion of serotonin and it provides symptomatic relief in carcinoid. Now, post-gastrectomy dumping syndrome. Now, post-gastrectomy, that is after surgical removal of a portion of stomach, a patient may suffer from abdominal pain and diarrhea. Here also, cyproheptadine provides the symptomatic relief. Now, next are the 5-HT3 receptors. These are the neuronal receptors, and stimulation of 5-HT3 receptors depolarize nerve endings, producing release of serotonin, and that further produces excitatory response. Now, 5-HT3 receptors are located on the nerve endings in the myenteric plexus. Now, myenteric plexus is a network of neurons located in the wall of GIT. Now, stimulation of 5-HT3 receptors, which are located in the myenteric plexus, stimulates the vagus nerve, and stimulation of this vagus nerve releases acetylcholine, and acetylcholine further stimulates or enhances peristalsis, which improves gastric emptying. That is, there is movement of stomach content in the forward direction. Now, if stimulus is strong, then acetylcholine can also induce emesis, that is vomiting. Now, in addition to this, these 5-HT3 receptors, they are also located on the chemoreceptor trigger zone, that is CTZ, and nucleus tractus solitarius in the brain stem. Now, stimulation of these 5-HT3 receptors causes nausea and vomiting. Now, ondansetron is a selective 5-HT3 receptor antagonist. It is an antiemetic. It controls vomiting. It controls vomiting that is induced due to cancer chemotherapy, due to radiotherapy. Then it controls post-operative nausea and vomiting, and disease or the drug-induced vomiting. Now, 5-HT4 receptors are also excitatory, and these 5-HT4 receptors are located in the gastrointestinal tract. 5-HT4 receptors are located in the mucosa, then in the plexus, that is network of neurons, and smooth muscles of the gut. Now, stimulation of 5-HT4 receptors stimulate release of acetylcholine from the myenteric plexus, and that enhances intestinal secretion, and there is also enhancement of peristalsis. Now, metoclopramide is a selective 5-HT4 agonist. It stimulates peristalsis and it also enhances intestinal secretion, and therefore it is used clinically as a prokinetic agent as it enhances or it accelerates the process of gastric emptying. So, this is in brief on pharmacology of serotonin agonist and antagonist that are used clinically. Please note that the information provided in this video is meant exclusively for students from their examination point of view. Please do not use this information for the clinical purpose, and kindly consult your physician for the use of 5-HT agonist and antagonist. Now, if you find the video useful, kindly like, subscribe and share this video. Thanks for watching this video.